On July 7, 2016, at exactly 11:30 p.m., a 32-year-old man was found dead in the bathroom of his Delhi apartment. The door was locked from inside. There were no signs of struggle, no suicide note. But here is what makes this different from any other unexplained death. This man spent his entire life investigating the unexplained. His name was Gaurav Tiwari, and he was India's most famous paranormal investigator. The question everyone has been asking for 8 years is simple. Did the man who chased ghosts finally meet one? Okay, so let me tell you about Gaurav, because this guy wasn't some random person playing with Ouija boards in his basement. Gaurav Tiwari was the real deal, or at least as real as it gets in the paranormal world. He founded the Indian Paranormal Society back in 2009, and by 2016 he had become like. Think of him as the Indian's answer to those ghost haunting shows you see on TV, except he was doing this before it was cool. He studied in the US, got trained by some big names in American paranormal research, came back to India and just went all in. We are talking hundreds of investigations, haunted houses, possessed people, unexplained phenomena, you name it, Gaurav investigated it. But here is what interesting about him. He wasn't just trying to scare people. He actually approached things scientifically, or tried to. Anyway, he would bring equipment, EMF readers, thermal cameras, the whole setup. He wanted to prove or disapprove things, not just chase thrills. His wife, Rashmi, she wasn't into this stuff at all. Can you imagine you are married to someone who's out every weekend investigating supposedly haunted locations, coming home at 3 a.m. talking about shadows, figures and cold spots? That's gotta be tough on a relationship. And apparently it was. Because in the months before his death, people close to them said this marriage was struggling. Rashmi wanted him to stop. She was worried about him. She said he was changing, becoming more paranoid, more stressed. Let's talk about those last weeks of his life, because this is where things get really strange. Gaurav started telling people he felt like he was being followed, not by a person, by something else. He told his colleagues at Indian Paranormal Society that he felt a presence around him, some kind of negative energy. Now you might think the guy investigates ghosts for a living. Of course he's gonna feel paranoid. The people who knew him said this was different. He had investigated hundreds of cases and never acted like this before. He wasn't sleeping well. His wife said he would wake up in the middle of the night scared. He started talking about leaving the paranormal field entirely. Imagine that you have built your whole career, your whole identity around this work, and suddenly you want out. Then there were the calls. In the weeks before his death, Gaurav made several calls to a fellow paranormal investigator. The content of those calls we don't know exactly, but his friend later said Gaurav sounded disturbed, frightened. On July 17, 2016, everything seemed normal, or as normal as it could be. Given the tension in the house, Gaurav was home with Rashmi and his father. They had dinner, watched some TV. Around 11 p.m., Gaurav went to take a bath. 30 minutes later, his father knocked on the bathroom door. No response. He knocked again. Still nothing. They broke down the door. Gaurav was lying in the bathtub, unresponsive. They rushed him to the hospital, but he was declared dead on arrival. Now here is where this case gets really complicated, because the official investigation raised more questions than answers. The initial police report called it a suspected suicide, but here is what doesn't add up. There was no suicide note, and Gaurav, he didn't have history of depression or suicidal behavior. He was stressed, his marriage was rocky. People who saw him that day said he seemed fine. The post-mortem report came back inconclusive. No clear cause of death, no signs of poisoning, no injuries. It's like the body just stopped. The police looked into the possibility of an electrocution, maybe something with water heater, but they couldn't find any evidence of that either. Rashmi, his wife, she finally told police that she thought it might be suicide, but then she started questioning that herself, because nothing about the scene made sense for a suicide. Where was the note? Why would he do it with his family right outside? His family absolutely rejected the suicide theory. His father said there was no way Gaurav would take his own life. They started talking about the paranormal angles. Could something he have investigated have followed him home? Now I know what you're thinking, that sounds crazy, right? But put yourself in their shoes for a second. Your son spends years investigating the supernatural. He starts acting paranoid, says he feels like something following him, and then he dies under mysterious circumstances, with no clear causes. What would you think? The Indian Paranormal Society released a statement saying they believed Gaurav's death might be connected to his work. Some of his colleagues claimed he would recently investigated a particular disturbing case and hadn't been the same since. But the police, they were not buying the supernatural explanation. And honestly, can you blame them? How do you investigate a ghost? How do you file charge against a spirit? The case eventually went cold. The official cause of death was listed as asphyxia. He stopped breathing, but they could not determine why. So what really happened to Gaurav Tiwari? Let's walk through theories. Because 8 years later, people are still debating this. Theory 1. Suicide. This is the official police stance. Gaurav was under stress, marriage problem, career pressure, financial issue with the paranormal society. Maybe the bathroom door being locked from the inside was exactly what it looked like. Maybe he just hid his depression well. It happens more often than we think. Theory 2. Accidental death. Some people think it could have been a freak accident. Maybe he had a medical condition no one knew about. A heart problem, something that could cause sudden death. It would explain why there were no injuries and no clear cause. Theory 3. Foul play. This one is darker. Maybe he uncovered something during an investigation that someone didn't want exposed. Maybe there were financial disputes we don't know about. But there is no evidence of this. No suspects, no motive that investigators could find. Then there is a theory his family and some of his colleagues believe that something from his investigations followed him home, that the work he did opened a door he couldn't close. Now I'm not here to tell you what to believe. The thing is, we will probably never know for sure. The investigation is closed. The case is cold. Gaurav family still maintains he didn't kill himself and they want the case reopened. But so far, nothing has happened. Gaurav Tiwari's death changed the paranormal investigation community in India. Some people quit the field entirely. Others become more cautious, more protective of their mental health. His wife Rashmi, she stayed out of the public eye. Understandably, whatever happened that night. She lost her husband in a traumatic way, and she never gotten the real answers. The Indian Paranormal Society continued for a while after his death, but it's never been the same. Gaurav was the face of it, the driving force. What gets me about this case is how it sits right at the intersection of the unexplainable and unexplainable. Was it a tragic suicide of a man under too much pressure, a medical emergency, or something darker? Or did Gaurav Tiwari spend his life looking for proof of the paranormal, only to become the evidence himself? I don't have the answers. Nobody does. But that's what makes it stick with you, isn't it? That's not knowing. If you are listening to this and you know Gaurav, or if you have information about this case, the Delhi police case file is still technically open for new evidence.